Why is Bitcoin? The time 03 January 2009. Chancellor on the brink of second bailout for banks. It's 2007. You slam the door in your 1990 Buick LeSabre that you recently bought for $800 from your English teacher and walk through the parking lot over to the massive Starbucks sitting on the corner. You're tired. You were up late studying for your finals last night, but the tests were harder than you anticipated. You left school earlier, defeated again by AP US History. Your friends had convinced you to go see Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and you'd hoped that Johnny Depp's indomitable charm would be enough to lift your spirits, but to no avail. You walked through the Starbucks' massive glass doors and wondered if you had enough money in your bank account for a venti. Does your insurance come out today or tomorrow? You look down at your razor and wish there was a way for you to check your balance, but there's not. It's 2007. You take your place in line, waiting within 6 feet of the person in front of you. They cough. You don't worry about it at all. It's 2007. As a line moves forward, Kiss Kiss by Chris Brown is running through your head, despite the fact that the Starbucks is playing a very loud Norah Jones CD in the background. I don't know if this has been communicated well enough, but it's 2007. You get to the front of the line, you order a venti caramel frap with no whip. $4.99, the cashier says with a hint of malice in their voice. You take your debit card out of your wallet and swipe it in the card reader. The reader takes a second and then prompts you for your PIN. 8008. Boob. You chuckle to yourself. Instantly, your authorized transaction is sent through a complex network of switches and routers to Chase Manhattan servers and checked against your balance. No good. Your insurance had been today and had overdrafted your account. After the overdraft fee, you now have negative $38 in your account, which is not nearly enough for a venti caramel frap, but ironically just enough to qualify for a low-interest variable rate loan on a $200,000 home. Chase Manhattan servers inform Starbucks that you don't have enough money in under 3 seconds, and the cashier says with a twisted smile, "I'm sorry, your card has been declined." He whispered, but loud enough for everyone in the line to hear, begging the question of why he whispered in the first place. You're mortified. You grab a USA Today to shield your face as you walk out, again defeated, from the Starbucks, without noticing the headline on the paper. Lehman Brothers on the brink of collapse. Over the next few years, the Lehman Brothers collapse started a cascade of bank failures that rippled out and dried up credit markets. People lost homes, people lost jobs, and the government chose to spend billions of dollars to protect the system. The system you had just used to embarrass yourself at Starbucks. The banks were deemed too big to fail, too systemically important. The central banks of the world consolidated around the bankers. Governments the world over poured trillions of dollars into institutions that were robbing ordinary people blind, all to save the system. The system that charged you $35 when your car insurance payment had been $3 more than your bank balance and left you with a red negative 38 where your bank balance once was. All to save a system that had robbed millions of families of their homes and livelihoods. The government could have conspired to save the people, but instead they conspired to save the system. How else would people transact with one another without the central validating authority of the bank's ledgers? How could we possibly buy Starbucks coffee without the complex system of routers and switches and servers that informed you that you were too poor for that same coffee? On January 3rd, 2009, the first Bitcoin block was mined, the Genesis block, with a single line of English text. The Times, 03 January 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. That's why Bitcoin. The banking crisis revealed something. The banks were too important. The system of centralized electronic transactions that they had built was too critical to the smooth functioning of society for us to ever let them fail. If you took a risky loan on your home and the market crashed, the banks could take your house and the government wouldn't lift a finger to intervene. But if the banks took out billions in risky derivatives and credit default swaps and then the markets collapsed, the Fed would just print trillions of dollars to keep them afloat. They had no choice. The system was too important. So, Bitcoin. Time 03 January 2009. Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. You see, the true genius of Bitcoin is mining. You may have heard the term before, but to really understand it, you need to first understand that all Bitcoin is a list of account balances. That's it. It's like a giant Excel spreadsheet of every Bitcoin account and the number of Bitcoins that they have. Mining is the process of adding new entries to the spreadsheet and changing the entries that are already there. Bitcoin is a giant public list of every account and every transaction that has ever occurred with Bitcoin, and it's mathematically guaranteed to be correct. I'll give you one final analogy. Imagine the blockchain as a giant mural, one large, ever-growing tapestry on the wall in front of you, broken up into what looks like small chunks. You can see that there's a story in the tapestry as you look from left to right, from beginning until now. You see the story, and although you can tell that each piece has been stitched to the last, when you zoom out, it's consistent, and you can tell that each piece belongs exactly where it is. All of a sudden, a new piece shows up, and the entire tapestry shifts. The new piece fits. That's apparent. It's the same story. So you go over to the end of the tapestry to investigate how new pieces are formed. At the end, there's a large table, and on it is a giant jigsaw puzzle with lots of people buzzing around, putting pieces neatly in place. You begin to see that this is the next piece of the tapestry, and it's not a tapestry at all, but a giant jigsaw puzzle. The new block of the puzzle continues to take shape, each piece a transaction that the miners check for validity, until all that is left is one final piece. All the miners stop putting the puzzle together and move over to the giant box with thousands of jigsaw pieces in it. And this is the hard part. The miners search through what seems like a random box of puzzle pieces, trying each one until at last one person finds a piece that fits just right and places it in the new block, and then adds it to the rest of the tapestry. The miner that found it gets a small reward for their trouble, and the process starts all over again. And that's mining. In reality, it's not a jigsaw puzzle, but a math problem called a cryptographic hashing puzzle. And miners buy specialized computers to try and find the solution to it as fast as possible, because when they do, they get Bitcoin. So they mine. Part of what they check is that someone trying to make a payment has enough Bitcoin in their account to do it. And that's how you make a transaction without a bank. That's how you offer an alternative to a system that was too big to fail. You make a new system. Bitcoin.